Well, howdy. This is the second day of my new hearing aids. And as you know, I lost my job at Walmart after almost just a few months shy of 7 years, right at Christmas time. And I've been on unemployment and trying to make a living through selling insurance, and I became licensed. And it's a little intense of the expenses at first to get started, but I can hear things now. And my Texas Workforce Commission vocational rehabilitation counselor, she is phenomenal. Her name is Yvonne Pleasant, and I love her. And she is, I've been looking for work. She knows I am. I stay in contact with her. I update her on my employment searches. And we were talking, and she goes, remind me, were you terminated because of COVID? And I said, well, to be honest with you, no, that's not the reason that they said they let me go. But I truly believe it was COVID related. And she goes, why do you say that? And I said, well, ever since my previous evaluations and my communications, everybody knew that I was hard of hearing. I told them from the day I came to that store that I was disabled, I could not hear, and that I spoke very loudly. As a matter of fact, in personnel, Debbie in personnel there can confirm it too, and everybody else that I interviewed, the very one of the things that I said at every single interview is that I'm very hard of hearing, about 75% loss of hearing, and I talk very loudly. So don't think I'm screaming at you, because I can't hear. And if I can't hear me, I don't think you can hear me either. So I tend to talk loud, so just tell me, tone it down if I get too loud. But it might sound like I'm yelling to you, and I'm not. I'm not yelling at you, but I might be accelerating my voice. And the decibels will increase. And I'm not a stupid person, and I use my words wisely, probably because of my legal experience when working with Karen McRae, law offices of Karen McRae, and also as an investigator with the Phoenix Investigation Group. So I learned to use my words very wisely. But And I said that for a reason, because what I could hear people say is how I answered them. But when COVID hit and they started forcing us and making us and demanding that we wear a mask, not only do I have asthma, but I complied, but I couldn't hear anymore at all. Hardly at all. I mean, maybe 5%. 10%. So there's going to be a lot of miscommunication happening because of that. Not only could I not read your lips anymore, but I can't hear myself. And I'm missing a lot of the words that you're saying. And if you miss one word in a sentence, it will change the whole concept of what you're asking or talking about. So there was miscommunication. My prior evaluations and communications with that store manager were good. He said, I see no reason for you not to be an exceed next year. Well, that next year, COVID hit. And all of a sudden, there's communication problems, and he started calling me a liar. And he allowed the co-manager to call me a liar. And that is something I do not do. I will tell you one miscommunication. You tell me what you think, but I used my words real clearly because I know that this store manager always listens to the sales associate above his management, which I believe is inappropriate. It is unethical. That's my opinion. And these are my opinions. This is all about Walmart. This is just my opinion. I think it's unethical to take the word over your assistant store manager who is actually in the weeds of the situation and gets involved and can see what's happening. But he always did. I mean, I'm using the word always because that in this particular instance, it's correct. So, and sometimes when you ask a question, you might go, oh my gosh, I remember this now. And you come back and you say, guess what? I've got more information. It did not change the story. It added to the story. There's a difference. When you're an investigator, you know those things. If you add to the story and it doesn't change the meat of it, of what their concept is, then they're truthful. And you can tell that. You can finally weed out liars real quick. Well, I will give you an instance. I knew that our store suddenly started missing batteries I mean batteries all over the whole store for your handheld devices. You cannot function without a handheld device. And the entire store knew that my particular department had our own supply. I had about 130 of my own batteries. Suddenly it's down to 4 or 5 batteries. And I've got 20, 30, 40 people here every day. You know, starts off with 10, then 10 more show up, and then they go to lunch, and 10, 50. We typically could have 45 people at one time with a device on a busy day. The rest of them is about 25 to 30 people with a device plus their managers. So you would need at least 40 devices every day, if not 50, just to make sure that your job was being done. Well, these batteries come up missing. And I would leave for work after I'd come in and do an Easter egg hunt, find these batteries, bring them back. And then I'd find out it's upper management above me, outranking me. I cannot tell upper management, co-manager or store manager, no, excuse me, that's Jordan jumping in front of me. Cannot do that because then I could be fired. But I expressed my opinion clearly that I cannot continue to work like this and meet the metrics that you want me to meet if you keep allowing upper management and overnight managers to take the devices from my department at night and then not return them. Not only not return them, but if they did return them so that when we came in at 5 o'clock in the morning, the batteries would be dead, useless, because they got a charge now for 3 or 4 hours. And that happened every day. And I said, it's got to stop. So they ordered some batteries. All right. So they only ordered 50 batteries for the store when my department needed 150 at least to be able to function all day long. Because we would use our batteries. They would go dead. You would need to take a battery out, put it in the charger, let it charge, and then take another one and go finish the rest of your day. Kid you not. Sometimes you would need to use 3 batteries in a day. That's why we had 160. It's about right? If you got 45 devices or 30 to 40 devices, you're going to need 120. If you're using, each person is using 3. So if you got 40 times 3, that's 120, and you need the extras for the others. So we needed 160 at that moment when we were really doing orders. So I found out that the shipment of batteries was coming in. And the person in shipment, this is another person that was the store manager's favorite. And that's based on action, based on witness, based on how the store manager responded to this person on a regular basis. There's about 3 or 4 of them. And he said they're going to be in today. And he said, keep an eye on them. Okay, well, he told me to keep an eye on them and make sure that they come in and let him know. Perfect. I'll go over there and tell her. I went to the receiving area. I said, by the way, we've ordered batteries, as in the store. It's about 50 coming in. Let me know when they come in. Just let me know. She goes, well, do you want me to bring them to you? I said, just let me know when they come in. As soon as I walk away, that person, within 2 minutes, is at the store manager's ear. Now, that person had to walk and find this person because she did not have a radio. And in 3 minutes, I'm getting on the radio a phone call from the store manager screaming in my ear, I don't need you causing me problems. Nobody said those batteries belong to you. And I mean at the top of his lungs. And I said, I never said that. And then he continued to scream. And I said, I didn't say that. I knew what I said. I said, let me know. He had already just told me. Plus, I had already known the asset protection, Pam, that as soon as they came in that I was to give them to her. I didn't pass all that information down to the person that's in receiving. That's an associate. I knew what I was supposed to do when they came in. Get them to Pam. Tell Pam to go get them. Did I say that they all belong to my department? I did not. But that man took that as gospel with that associate. That's just one example. Here's another. I needed help. We were short-handed. We had about 8 to 10 call-ins that day for the department that I worked in. And we are the ones that process orders for people going out to their car. He says, go get Rhonda from front end. I said, well, can I have her all day? He said, start with an hour and a half and see where it goes. Okay. So I took that information. I said, hey, Rhonda, I really need your help. And I said, I so appreciate it. I said, I asked if I could have you all day. But I promise, what I'm going to do, what I need is just an hour and a half, if you could help me with that. I said, I asked for the whole day. And that was truthful. I did. He said, start with an hour and let's see. I don't really only want her gone for about an hour and a half. I got that. I'm respectful of that. And what I said to her was 100% the same thing. She immediately, same favoritism person, goes to the store manager immediately and says, did you tell her that she could have me all day? Because I'm at front end. And then he calls me again. I told you you could not have her for the whole day. I said, I didn't say that. So again, he says, let me tell you something. I believe her. And I said, that is not what I said. He said, I've already told you I believe her. That made me very mad. And I did not show a reaction. Because not only is he allowing the upper management to take all my batteries every day and create an Easter egg hunt effect, but he called me a liar and did not take my word. And I was real careful. What's another example? Got one. This person at our store, because of his instruction as the store manager, and you follow your store manager's instructions because you respectfully do that. You have to. At our store, he only wanted personnel to bring in all the hiring. I would look at applications and say, and I'd call them. But she was the one that had to bring them in, get them signed up, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. She was the one responsible to make sure she kept us staffed. And as soon as I had 11 hired, which I did often, had 10 or 11 hired one week, no orientation, scheduled for 2-3 weeks. I'd lose most of those people because they needed a job. And but he did, she, HR, great lady. But that was an absolute repeat of the same problem in the store, is not being able to start orientation, because she was really good at her job, but it was really ineffective in getting orientation started for our store because she was stretched thin. She was stretched so thin that they sent her to Box Springs, they sent her to Terrell, they sent her to other stores to deal with them while we were still hurting. So these are 3-4 weeks down the road and orientation is not started. That's why you only got 2 or 3 of my 11 I hired. That's not good enough, because I needed to terminate some people that were malfunctions. And that's how it happened. But when I heard somebody ask me, also another thing, the rule at this store was, we as assistant managers were not allowed to approve days off, late points, or things like that, because that is something that only wanted the co-manager and HR to do. So we would send a text, by the way, I need this person to stay late. I did ask if they did. And we would send a text or an email to HR to let them know if there was something that they could consider for the point. But they still had to make the final decision, and that was how it was laid down to us. And that's the store man. It's not how One Best Way is or how the rules were for Walmart, but that is the rules set forth by this person. You can ask anybody that left since then, because the ones that are there are intimidated to just say what he wants you to say. And I get that. But I know that COVID is a reason that I don't have the job, because I couldn't hear, because then the miscommunications happened and I could not understand what people are saying. So if somebody said, hey this or hey that, I talk loud. But they knew that when I hired them. If they claimed that I yelled at them, they didn't have an argument, because I didn't yell at anybody. But we were in a very, very long hall, echoey hall. That's what they said, it was real echoey. And you could hear the echo even at my deaf hearing. And if they were all the way down there and you were walking through with these wheels and go blah, 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 then it was difficult to hear. And I would say, Kay, can you go to car number 5? Please take care of car number 5 first. And if I'm standing by somebody, they're hearing me. And if they're on the phone, they could hear me holler down, hey, can you get car number 5? That's not yelling at people. But customers, heard that and said, oh, she's yelling at these people to go to car number 5. No, I was trying to get it across that. But the previous evaluations were always great until then. So I'm taking it to court. I am. I'm taking it to court because, at least I think I am. It's already been they already looked at all of my documentation that showed I was called a liar on a text. They saw the documentation, at least my attorneys that I had looking at it right now. I'm giving Walmart another chance to make things right. Give me a settlement offer at this point. You don't want me? That's fine. I'll get it. I've always been respectful. But you don't call your assistant managers a liar. You don't make it impossible for them to do their job. And you don't hide their equipment. You don't take their equipment and not return it. Because at that point, and I even asked them in writing to please do not increase the orders, reduce the orders until I train these people. And what did they do? They did that after they got rid of me. Thanks for following my advice after the fact. You took my job, you took my insurance, you took my life insurance, you took my peace of mind. You made me so stressed out that my blood pressure just increased dramatically. I got very depressed. It's very hard for me to get out of bed now. I took these classes, but I am so depressed. My kids can tell you, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to get out of bed every morning. I make myself get out of bed. Today I made myself put my makeup on because I'm looking for jobs. I don't have a job. And the jobs that I've interviewed for, oh, you're overqualified. I know I'm qualified and I can hear now. And there's no risk of hollering at anybody. But I guarantee you being called a liar every day and screamed at every day at the top of your lungs in front of associates was inappropriate behavior. It was unethical. Hiding the equipment was unethical. Having a great review the year before and then suddenly COVID and not being able to hear people and being called a liar constantly was really hard to do every day. But I did my very best. And I know that. I know that from the bottom of my heart. And we had a lot of problems with some associates, but even the new co-manager, John, told me not to fire the last people. And then they removed my ability to fire 2 people that needed to go. They removed me from the system. And I said, look, you want me to terminate these people? I can't even do it. Because you just took me out of the system where I can't even terminate them. And I'm sitting in here right now trying to do it. And I sent a text message to HR and said, hey, can you fix this? Because I need to terminate somebody today and I don't have access because you removed my access. All this is it was a stepping stones, one step after another. To force me out and make me look bad, and documented every bit of it. And I got a lot more documentation than I provided Walmart. So anyway, y'all pray for me because I'm very depressed. It's hard to get out of bed every day without crying because I kid you not, I love that job and I put my best into it. But when you can't hear and you got masks on and they knew you were disabled with your hearing and still didn't accommodate that or take that into consideration and calls you a liar every day and screaming at the top of your lungs. That's bad stuff. Really bad stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to head out. Bye-bye.